Welcome to International 110. I'm Mr. Rankin. We're going to walk through Chapter 1 called Globalization of Business. 5 learning objectives as stated in the book. Explain the concept of global business versus international business. Provide some important reasons to study global business. Articulate the institutional versus resource-based views of international business or global business. Provide a couple of 3 ways of understanding globalization and state the size of the global economy. So, I've tried to summarize Chapter 1 on a couple of overview slides here for you. So let's go down these learning objectives one by one. Global business versus international business. International business in the old ways of walking through the main focus was on the foreign entry. The person that owned the company that was going overseas, and very little emphasis was given on the in-country that was being put in place. Global business focuses both on the business and on both parties. So this book, this course is going to focus on global business, both parties. The customer, the manufacturer, whether they're the foreign investor or the foreign investee, so to say. Some reasons to study. Well, first of all, chances are you're going to be employed, either work for or have a supplier or have a customer that's has some sort of global presence. If you went through the preliminary, you understand the United States only 5% of the population. Secondly, from a career advancement point of view, if you have an international business background, that's going to, in most cases, help you in the advancement. And third thing is just understanding the globalization of the world and how it works. You'd be amazed how many of the things we do day to day are not made in the United States anymore. We'll go through that more in the class as we move on. The third point is the fundamental basis of success internationally is based on 2 views, what's called an institutional view, or an external to the firm, kind of what are the rules of the game? Are we playing basketball? Are we playing badminton? If LeBron James was on my team and I find out the game is chess, I don't know. He might be a phenomenal chess player too. I don't know. But there's a good chance that, maybe that doesn't work so well. The resource view is more of an internal view of the firm. That's more who the players are on my team. Do I have the capabilities to do it? So success is defined by what are the rules of the game, the institutional view, and what are the internal resources we have at our disposal called the resource views. 3 ways of understanding globalization. A, it's a new force sweeping the world. B, it's a long-run historical evolution towards globalization. Or C, the one the author depicts and agrees with, it's a pendulum that swings back and forth. And I think history supports that it's a pendulum that swings back and forth. We went through in the preliminary in the 50s, there wasn't much trade. Now there's a substantial lot. Previous times in the world history, there's been more. The global side of the economy, just to put in perspective, around $60 trillion. Over here are some of the pros and cons of globalization per the experts. Secondly, we talked in the preliminary video, just to reiterate some of the history of the interdependencies. Certainly the amount of trade has tripled or more than tripled over the last 50 years. So the interconnectivity or interdependence of the world upon each other has expanded greatly. Secondly, the wealth. In the 1950s, the United States was much, much wealthier than the rest of the world, 5 times more wealthy than the rest of it. That gap has closed substantially. And back then, India and China were actually poorer than Africa, and that certainly isn't true today. The gap on per capita income has shrunk as the world's gotten wealthier. And then in the previous video, we talked about some of the major trends. The population is aging, the fertility rates are declining, and the world's getting much wealthier. Hope that helps as a quick summary of Chapter 1. Any questions? Send me an email, and have a good week.